I think as if I were the FM, there would the three big things that I would focus on would one be to talk about what my fiscal deficit trajectory would be. The fiscal deficit trajectory is something that is already in the public domain. As an FM, I think this is an opportunity for me to either revise it or stick to it. Having committed to it the last time, I think what I would do is to stick with the trajectory of bringing it down. We've seen the benefit of fiscal consolidation in the earlier decade, where as we were bringing down our fiscal deficit, it brought down significantly the real rate of interest in the economy, and that led to its own revival of capital cycle. So I think if we were to just stick to the fiscal deficit number, that would be one of the first things that I would look at. Having said that, I think there is a recognition of the fact that we require a restart of the capital cycle. Whether that will come in from the private players or will the government need to fund it, I think that remains as an open question. And as an FM, I would try to kickstart the capital cycle by ensuring that the government opens up new sectors where capital investment could come in. Moves have already been made in defense, in railways, and both of them could potentially bring in many billions of dollars of investments, both from the private side as well as from the government side. The government budget being what it is, the allocations to railways and defense would continue, maybe slightly increase over this budget, but I would like to see a lot more coming in from the private sector in these newer areas. A lot of resolution still required in older areas like power, to some extent in roads, etc., some of the mining capacities, etc. The good thing is that we are beginning to see a lot of changes happen on the mining side. I think that should kickstart a lot of coal production, a lot of other mineral production eventually. And a solution on the coal side and on the gas side would potentially lead to solving of a lot of problems on the power side and on the banking NPA side. And that should be a positive boost that one would work towards. A minor related point along with this is the entire recapitalization of banks that needs to happen because of the problems that some of these sectors have created in terms of NPAs, etc. So solving for some of these problems would also indirectly help solve for the capitalization problem of the banks, and hence reduce the stress that the government would have to take on its own balance sheet to fund some of these banks. The third big thing that I would work on is ensuring that we move towards GST. We've spoken about that now for almost a decade, slightly more than that. This is a good time to usher in those changes in the economy so that we make one big unified market in this country. And I think that would kickstart the consumption side of the story. So if we can work both on the capital cycle as well as on the consumption side, those would be some of the things that I would work for while maintaining fiscal balances in check.